This Sunday, the first Sunday of Advent, each year, the church invites us to embark on a great journey, the journey of the liturgical year. When we start the liturgical year, we are setting out to follow in the footsteps of Christ. In the course of the year, the whole of his life and teaching will pass before us. We will revisit the mysteries of his time on earth. From his expectation, that is what Advent is about, to his birth, his life, death, resurrection, ascension into heaven, and his sending of the Holy Spirit. In the course of the year, we will relive his whole story. But we have heard the story many times. So there is a danger that we may see it as old and stale. We must try to see it as new and present and alive. It is not like playing an old video. The celebration of each feast brings back the event in its original clarity and vitality, never allowing it to grow cold and lifeless or fade in oblivion. Besides, we are not spectators, but actors in all of this. The mysteries of Christ's life are represented in such a way that we are drawn into them and become participants in them. That makes it more demanding, but more enriching and exciting too. God is not just a God of the past, but of the present and the future. We are kingdom people. We must look at reality with the new eyes. Each year, we ought to hear the Christ story better, understanding it more deeply, and make it more our own. In hearing his story, we ought to hear our own stories too. Our stories merge with his and are illuminated by it. His story enables us to live our own story more fully and more joyfully. Even though we have made the journey before, we must try to embark on it today as if for the very first time. This Sunday is a God-given chance to make a new beginning in our following of Christ. Today the readings concentrate on the second coming of Christ and the end of the world. The reason for this is that before we commit ourselves to a journey, we need to know the goal of the journey. So on this day, the liturgy directs our eyes towards the goal of our own journey and that of the world, namely the second coming of Christ. The early Christians believed that the second coming was near and would be preceded by cosmic signs. We are not so sure about this. The false prophets speak of the end as a time of gloom and doom, but Jesus spoke of it as a day of liberation and salvation for his followers. The world is not heading for catastrophe or mere ending. God has a goal for the world. That goal is the coming of God's kingdom in all its glory. Therefore, we should not be afraid of the Lord's coming, but await it with confidence, vigilance, and prayer. However, we should worry more about the end of our own individual world and death, which is very certain, than about the end of the whole world, which is out of our hands. We don't know when. In this Advent, let us, as it invites in the Gospel, watch, stay awake, and stand with confidence before the Son of Man on our journey towards the eternity, the journey with God, with the others, and with each of us.